Hi there.
Already here, and it sounds like you're all set. I don't believe so, but thank you for being so flexible, Russ.
Whenever you're ready, I'm good. Thanks, Stephen. Welcome back, everyone, to the New Hampshire Gives live stream. My name's Russ Grazier, and I am the CEO of Portsmouth Music and Arts Center, which we affectionately call PMAC. And, I really hope you've enjoyed the clips that you've been seeing from all of the participating nonprofits in this year's New Hampshire Gives Day, as well as the wonderful interviews that have been happening all evening. It's been so great for me to learn about the amazing work being done in New Hampshire. And every time I see something on the New Hampshire Gives site or the interviews that are going on tonight, I'm learning something new myself. So I've really enjoyed this. I hope you're enjoying it as well. Have you been watching the numbers climb at www.newhampshiregives.org? I'm looking right now, and we have passed $1.7 million raised. Yeah. You listen to that applause, with 5,895 donors so far, supporting 541 New Hampshire organizations. Thank you, New Hampshire, for showing off your spirit of generosity. There are still 5 chances to get your donation matched through the site-wide match made possible by the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation and its donors. So get ready to give tomorrow if you haven't given yet, or give again at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., and 4 p.m. Each one of those hours, there will be site-wide matches occurring. In addition, check out the matches page on newhampshiregives.org to learn about the currently active matches for individual nonprofits. In fact, PMAC has one, and it's an unusual one for us. When we hit 100 donors, there will be a $500 gift given to PMAC from an anonymous donor. So it can be in many different forms. Don't forget about the prize incentives. Not just that one for PMAC, but giving to your favorite nonprofit at any time during New Hampshire Gives enters them to win a random drawing called a golden ticket. We're currently in the Primetime golden ticket period. So for every online donation an organization receives between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m., they get entered for the drawing at 10 p.m. All online donations also count towards end-of-day prizes, where organizations with the most dollars raised online and the most unique donors will win regional and overall prizes. In addition to these golden tickets, don't forget about the P2P prize, peer-to-peer. This prize will be awarded to the organization that has raised the most dollars through peer-to-peer fundraising between 5 p.m. on June 8th and 10 a.m. on June 9th. And nonprofits who submit a screenshot of a New Hampshire Gives social media post that they've posted between 5 p.m. on June 8th and 11 a.m. on June 9th will be entered into a drawing for the Show Your Spirit prize. All screenshots must be submitted prior to 11 a.m. on June 9th. So see the incentives page on newhampshiregives.org for submission information. So now it's time to bring in some guests. We, I believe, are the first group of nonprofit leaders that are going to be having a conversation as a group, and you'll see this throughout the day tomorrow as well. And this hour features Seacoast nonprofits. So I'm proud to be here representing the Seacoast of New Hampshire. And joining me are Martha Cohen-Stone of Crossroads House, Astrid Whelans of Zebra Crossings, and Molly Hodgson of Goodwork. And I'm familiar with all these organizations. They're very close to my heart here in the Seacoast, but I'm not sure those of you watching are familiar with all of us. So I'd like to take a moment to go around the screen and have each of these leaders introduce you to themselves and their organization. And then once we've all introduced ourselves, take a minute or two each to introduce ourselves, we're going to have a conversation about what's important to us in nonprofit work in the state of New Hampshire and in the Seacoast, and why it's so important that we receive support throughout the year, and especially on New Hampshire Gives Day. So first, I'm going to hand it over to Molly Hodgson, and she's going to introduce herself and talk a little bit about her organization. So go ahead, Molly.
Thank you, Russ. Great to be here. I've been watching the ticker go, and this is great energy. Really excited to be a part of New Hampshire Gives this year. So Goodwork is a nonprofit incubator located in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. We're brand new, just 2 years old. We provide customized strategic support to early stage and idea phase nonprofits. And I am proud to be in partnership with my colleague Maria Solari. We are joint leaders of this organization, and excited to be here. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Really excited to have this conversation with you and everyone here tonight. Next, I'd like to go to Martha Stone, who's with us from Crossroads House. Go ahead, Martha.
Thank you, Russ. Glad to be here with you all this evening. As Russ said, I'm Martha Stone. I'm the Executive Director of Crossroads House. We are an emergency shelter providing safe spaces for men, women, and children in the Seacoast region who are experiencing homelessness. While we are a shelter located in Portsmouth, we actually have a very large service area. So we are serving folks coming from all of Eastern Rockingham County, all of Stratford County, and even up into Southern York, Maine. Typically speaking, we serve 400 to 500 people a year, and on a typical night, we can have approximately 100 people in our shelter. So while poverty can be a little bit invisible in our region, I can assure you that there are a lot of folks who are struggling and need emergency shelter. And our ultimate mission is to help people not only meet those emergency needs of a safe place to sleep and food to eat, case management, but ultimately returning back to permanent housing. And I will just put a plug in for Goodwork, then we'll talk about this, but I also, in the world of It's a Small World, participate with Molly in Goodwork as a mentor. So it's a great group to be with this evening. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, Martha. Next, we have Astrid Whelans from Zebra Crossings. Go ahead, Astrid. Let's hear a little bit about you and your organization.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me, and a very exciting day to watch that ticker go up. I totally agree. Zebra Crossings is a Dover-based nonprofit, and we provide empowerment programs for children who have chronic medical conditions, as well as their families. And our programs are really intended to bring them together and to provide an opportunity for them to connect with other families, to share their stories, to find support, and to truly get empowered by having new experiences and new opportunities to discover what they're capable of achieving. And this has been our 11th year, and we're looking forward to a bright future.
That's absolutely wonderful. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't share with everyone who's watching a little bit about Portsmouth Music and Arts Center, or PMAC, where I am CEO. PMAC has been around for almost 19 years. We're celebrating our 19th year this year. We are a community music and visual arts school located in the Seacoast in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And our mission is to build community through the arts. And we do that by providing high quality music and visual arts education opportunities for community members of all ages. So whether it's a 4-year-old who wants to learn the piano, or a 65-year-old recent retiree who wants to pick up their trumpet again for the first time in 50 years, or possibly, someone who wants to just learn how to paint or to sculpt or to take photographs. We have these wonderful music and visual arts programs. There are after-school programs, evening programs, summer programs that are supported by our community. We provide over $50,000 a year in tuition assistance to make sure these programs are accessible to everyone throughout our community. And we have a wonderful and amazing faculty of 40 professional musicians and visual artists that act for mentors for their students, act as mentors. And it's really something I'm very proud of, and I think we've accomplished a lot in the community. And I'm really excited to talk tonight about how what we do fits into the great puzzle of service that's happening throughout the Seacoast and throughout New Hampshire with nonprofit organizations. So I think the first thing I was hoping we could do is maybe go around the room again, but this time, instead of describing your organization, maybe you have a specific story of your organization's mission and action, something that really shares with our audience tonight, the meaningful work that your organization is doing in the community. And I'm going to reverse the order. So Astrid, let's start with you. Go right ahead.
Yeah, as I said in my introduction, this is our 11th year, and in 2019, we actually celebrated our 10-year anniversary, so I guess this is 12. time flies during COVID.
That's right.
But I think the exciting thing is what really tells our story is that when we were celebrating our 10-year anniversary is that we had campers, former campers who joined us at age 6, 7, 8 years old, were present at our anniversary celebration. And they were standing there as leaders in training, and they were standing there as volunteers or staff members of our program. And it was such a highlight. It was just amazing to see these kids grow over the years into becoming confident adults who now want to give back to kids that they can relate to the kids that were part of their story. And what I love is that some of these kids were truly saying, and now young people, that their story really was that they felt alone in the world. They felt alone as a kid that had these chronic medical conditions that were not understood. And through zebra crossings, they found a community. They found a sense of normalcy and a sense of hope and belonging. And I think a lot of them now were to the point saying, I now know that I can pursue my dreams, but do it my way. And it may be a slightly different way than other kids, but I can find my way now forward and have that sense of confidence that I can have a fulfillment in my life. And I want to give that back. And I think that's the most powerful piece for me. It's the most rewarding piece. And I look forward to returning to our community soon. And it's been a quiet year for us on the program front, but I'm looking forward to reuniting with our community.
That's absolutely amazing. Martha, I know you have stories because I've heard so many amazing stories of Crossroads House, and I don't want to steal your thunder by telling the stories I've heard. So why don't you share something from your work?
Thank you, Russ. It's difficult to choose just one because we have impacted the lives of so many people over the years. And I was remiss in my introduction. I did not mention that Crossroads House has been around since 1982. So next year will be 40 years for us. So there are thousands and thousands of people who have passed through our shelter. And I think the thing, and I will tell a story, but I will just preface it by saying that most people think of an emergency shelter as a place where someone can sleep, and they are not wrong. We provide a safe place for people to sleep, and we provide meals. But beyond that, when someone is experiencing homelessness, their needs are typically fairly complex, and they need a lot more than just a place to sleep. And that's one of the things that I take so much pride in is the case management that we offer, and our staff that works 24/7 at our front desk. We never, ever close, not even during a pandemic. Our staff showed up to work every day, even on those really scary days where we didn't know what that was going to look like. But I'll give you an example of just one of the many, many stories. I mean, we know that it can be terrifying for someone, even when they're in their darkest hour of not having anywhere to sleep at night, to make the decision to go into an emergency shelter. And in one particular case, I remember a story that was told by a female resident who stayed with us, that she'd heard of us and she knew what we offered, but she just was afraid to come in, didn't know what to expect. And I've heard this many, many times. People remember the first day they came into the shelter. They remember how they were treated. They remember how staff looked them in the eye and made contact and smiled at them and felt welcoming, because people who are experiencing homelessness are often, people don't even want to look at them or engage. And so they remember how they were welcomed, and she remembered how she felt on the day that she came in. She had experienced a medical condition that caused her to lose her job, that ultimately she lost her apartment, her finances. She ended up living in her car for a year and a half before she decided to come into the shelter. And, once she took that bold step to come in and say, I need help, and opened herself up to receiving it, a multitude of services were offered to her. And ultimately we helped her move out into her own place. And I think that, people don't always realize how transformational it is for someone coming in, and people become homeless for so many different reasons, Russ, and I won't go into all of them, but I know that people often ask me, well, how does someone end up in that situation? And it can be just pure finances, families break up, It can be substance use disorders, although not always. It can be mental health issues. It can be medical conditions. There's so many different things. And so we address all of those through our case management. But at the end of the day, when someone is moving out into an apartment, it's so much more than just having a place to live. It's really, they've turned their life around, and we continue to support them through case management that's done once they're in their home setting. And we have a fun celebratory ritual that we started this past year where I put up a brass bell in the shelter and there's a key dangling from it. And we invite people who sign their leases and get their own keys to their apartment to ring that bell, which then provides inspiration to others who are still in the shelter. So I will stop there and hand it back to you. So
I absolutely love that story, and that's wonderful. And you know, you're right. I mean, I feel very lucky and privileged in my life to have had a wonderful family support system. But in my younger years, there were times where I myself could have been a paycheck away from being homeless because so many people in this country live paycheck to paycheck. So the work that you do in the community is so incredibly valuable, and I appreciate it so much. Molly, tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing, the good work that you're doing at Goodwork.
Yeah. So we're the youngest in the bunch. We're just 2 years old. And I describe Goodwork as the organization that probably we all wish existed when we were founding or starting our organizations. And Martha, you mentioned earlier a shout out about serving as a mentor for Goodwork. All of you do, actually. I realized that as I was getting ready. Each of you has either mentored a previous cohort member or are currently mentoring one of our early stage nonprofits. So thank you for that. I've been the founding director of 2 small startups myself, and it can be a pretty scary, lonely experience. And when I was very inexperienced and naive, and I wish I had an organization like Goodwork to not only provide professional development and mentorship and coaching, but to allow these organizations to feel truly heard and understood, and come at it with empathy and meet them where they are. Because it's easy to teach an organization about proper board governance and those kinds of things, but it's another thing to sit with them and hear them talk through their limitations around capacity or funding issues, and really understand them because we've been in their shoes. And that's what you all do as mentors. That's what Marie and I do in our coaching of these nonprofits. We focus on the idea phase and early stage of the life cycle. We hope to expand services to existing nonprofits as we grow ourselves. And we do that in a really, really special place. Cary Cottage is our headquarters, and it serves as not only our headquarters, but it also is the home to 6 other nonprofits that serve the Seacoast, and as well as 6 residents that either work in the nonprofit sector or support the nonprofit sector. So the Cary Cottage and Goodwork really is meant to be a hub of nonprofit activity. It's a place that people can come and meet and be inspired and hold retreats. And we really feel like, along with the Center for Nonprofits, we're serving that role of making sure that the nonprofit sector is as efficient and effective as it can possibly be.
Thank you. That's so incredible. And Astrid did mention that she has served as a mentor for Goodwork. And as you just mentioned, both Martha and I have done the same. And it's been really rewarding. I spent some time working with Big Fish Learning Center in Dover, and I'm an active supporter of theirs, who I really didn't know much about before I started working with Goodwork. So you're doing wonderful things in the community. Thanks so much. You know, when I think about PMAC and our mission in action, just like Martha, there are too many stories to count to figure out exactly what to say to people. But like Astrid, you know, since we've been around for 19 years now, what's been really exciting for me is to see the young people who have gone through PMAC programs, and some of them have gone for 8, 10, 12 years, all the way from kindergarten through high school, participating in our music and art programs after school, go on to college, and then come back to the community and play a great role within the community and even at PMAC. We had, in our very early years, a young woman who was a saxophone student at PMAC and also an excellent pianist. And she was in our chamber music program in high school, and went to the University of New Hampshire and received her bachelor's degree in music, and came back and became a member of our faculty. So we actually saw a student go through the program, come back and become a member of the faculty, then go on to get her master's degree at Temple University in Philadelphia, and now is a piano teacher in Philadelphia, and we stay in touch. But these kids who I remember as middle school students and elementary school students and high school students, some of them are having children of their own right now. The time really flies by really quickly. But when I talk to some of them, what they tell me is that PMAC gave them a home, a place to be themselves, a place to really find their tribe, the people that really resonated with who they are, and they could be themselves, be creative, explore their creative, and learn who they are through that process. And our hope is not necessarily that all of those students go and become professional musicians and artists. Sometimes people think of a community arts center as developing the next generation of musicians and artists, which we hope to do, but that's not the primary focus of what we're doing. The primary focus of what we want to do is create wonderful people and citizens who grow up and to play important roles across the social board in our communities. So our students have gone on to become doctors, our students have gone on to become attorneys, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and then we have an extensive adult population as well who are continuing to work. And the great thing about the adults is they don't graduate and move away to college. They stay with us for their whole lives. So that's wonderful as well. You know, when we think about this past year, and I was thinking when we were going to have this conversation that, you know, as we see things changing for the positive so rapidly right now, that I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on the pandemic and everything that's happened. I think we're all pandemic'd out at this point. But I am curious about what the biggest challenge you're facing as an organization today. You know, what is it that keeps you up at night? And so, Martha, you know, what's the big challenge at Crossroads House these days, and how can people help?
Thanks, Russ. So it's interesting, and I'm right there with you around, like, who wants to talk about the pandemic anymore? But we've all lived through it, and we've survived. And as a nonprofit, we've had to really adapt in so many different ways. So two-part answer for you. I think the biggest challenge that we faced is that during the pandemic, we couldn't shelter as many people in a congregate setting as we normally would. And it's a really difficult thing to limit providing emergency shelter when there are people desperately in need. So that was a huge challenge. And we continue to face that because while every day it seems like there's a new announcement of, you know, a mask mandate goes away and vaccine rates are increasing and all these wonderful things, there still is not clear guidance for us on our ability to get back to normal, if you will, in terms of being able to provide the number of beds that we did pre-pandemic. So that's the biggest challenge because we have very long waiting lists. Again, as I mentioned in my intro, poverty is not something that's necessarily really visible, but I can tell you there are dozens and dozens and dozens of people on our waiting list, families and individuals waiting to get a bed in our shelter. And so it doesn't feel good at the end of every day not to be able to provide to everyone in need. Our greatest challenge, I would have to say, remains, and it's a very fitting time to talk about it with New Hampshire Gives, is just financially. As a nonprofit, we are not unique in that we have to raise the bulk of our operating income comes from donations. We have quite a patchwork of different funding sources that we rely on, and while we do get some government support, both local cities and towns, the state and the federal government, the majority of our funding comes from private donors, just like those who are tuning in and giving in the next 24 hours through New Hampshire Gives. And so at Crossroads House, we have to fundraise over $1 million every year. So this has nothing to do with the pandemic. This is regular old operating, keeping a shelter open 24/7. So we feel extraordinarily grateful to be able to have the opportunity to participate in New Hampshire Gives and receive the support really year-round from the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits. And I want to give them a shout out just because they're such an incredible resource for us. Even as an organization that is not new, the folks that Molly's assisting, and someone who's been around as long as I have, it's still a resource. There are still times where I value the kinds of things that I can go looking for on their site. So I will stop there. I think, it's probably something that is shared by many people just around the financial need to keep all of our organizations running. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's across the board. I know it's the case at PMAC. The cost of doing business has just gotten more expensive over the past year. We're seeing a lot of cost increase in our daily lives everywhere right now, and we're trying to figure out and navigate how do we keep what we do as affordable as possible for the community, as accessible to everyone as possible, and still be a fair employer and be able to provide for our employees in a way that's effective. And our donors really make that possible. They make these programs accessible to everyone, even when people are facing economic challenges. Astrid, what keeps you up at night, Astrid? What's the big challenge that's happening right now?
Well, the thing that normally keeps me awake at night is the safety of our kids. I always feel like it's such a big responsibility to take care of our kids and families. And there's my dog. And not having run the programs this year as much, you shift a little bit towards what is the now most immediate need. And we have a very small board of directors. And I think we're really looking to grow that. And my experience always is that through really connecting in person with people at events, at networking opportunities, that there is this great opportunity to really have that conversation with people. And I'm looking forward to returning to that. And I would also really encourage anyone listening is to reach out to nonprofits that you're interested in and to express an interest to serve in a capacity as a volunteer, whether it's a committee member or a board member, because it's hard for us to find you. But I think, if you're inspired by our mission as a listener right now, I would say reach out to these organizations, and they welcome to hear from you and connect with you. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful. And I would not be surprised if there's a future board member for one or more of our organizations watching right now and give any of us a call, or any of those organizations in your own community that you're passionate about, and connect. It doesn't always start on day one as a board member. There are many things that you can do with an organization that lead to leadership positions within a board, and you can really make an impact in your community through the work that you do with a nonprofit. Molly, what's keeping you up at night these days, and what's the big challenges that you're facing as an organization?
Yeah, so I mentioned that we're at Beautiful Carriage, which is a 134-year-old gem of a building that was saved from demolition, as you may remember, in 2019 through the generosity of a family foundation here on the Seacoast and a lot of rallying from the community. And so that the care and keeping of a building like that is significant. And honestly, the things that keep me up at night, and probably my partner Maria more so, given that she is the operational person and handles all of the minutia and the details of, are things like pipes bursting or heating and cooling systems, and things that come with sustaining and maintaining a really beautiful, historically and culturally significant building like that. We try to be very good stewards of that. And one of the reasons that we decided to participate in New Hampshire Gives this year is to establish the Cary Cottage Preservation Fund. Because while we were very very lucky to have the generous support of a family foundation, we now need to get about the business of sustaining and maintaining that building for generations to come. And so that is something that we have our eye on, in addition to serving our incubator participants and providing coaching and support to them. We're really heavily involved with making that space ready for the community to come to. We have beautiful meeting space and are starting to have folks out there. We just had a big group today, and we're having Leadership Seacoast tomorrow. And throughout the summer and fall, we have events planned for people to come and enjoy that space. So I would say that the historical building that we're so blessed to be in is what my current waking hours are spent thinking about. Oh.
There, I'm going to turn my microphone on. It has to happen at least once every time you're on a video conference call that someone's got to talk and talk without their microphone on. So I'm going to say, repeat, as a director of an organization that owns a facility, I totally hear you and I totally empathize. It's one of the great challenges that, you know, many of our organizations have. And it's a challenge that doesn't go away when you own property, and anyone who owns any property understands that. So I definitely hear you. So I'm curious, you know, it is New Hampshire Gives Day, and you know, I really have been fortunate to be able to support nonprofits through New Hampshire Gives over the years, and you know, not just my own nonprofit, but the nonprofits throughout the state that I really believe in. In fact, I keep hoping I'm going to win the lottery one of these days so I can like give to all of the nonprofits, because sometimes it's so hard to pick which nonprofit to support. But I'm just curious, you know, why do you give? And, you know, are there any New Hampshire Gives Day nonprofits that you want to give a shout out to that you support other than your own? So Astrid, you know, what makes you passionate about giving to charity?
You know, it really is, you know, realizing how, you know, privileged to some extent I am myself, and realizing how many people just really need support in an aspect of their life. Support systems that are not always provided by local government or by state government, and the system doesn't provide for them. And I think the success of our community is really based on us providing for one another. And you know, there's many causes I'm very passionate about. I think the challenge truly is to pick and choose a few. I do have the philosophy that I try to support a couple nonprofits consistently rather than move around, because it helps them kind of build their future rather than have a one-time gift and then it doesn't come back. But it's hard. I care about many causes, and Seacoast Outright is definitely one of those causes, close to my heart, and then really supporting young people in the community who are gay, lesbian, queer, transgender, and kids that really need the support. And it's close to Zebra Crossing's mission. It's providing that support community so these kids feel empowered, understood, and guided to take on life. So that's definitely one of mine.
Thank you. I'm so glad you gave a shout out to Seacoast Outright. They're such an important organization, and I love to support them as well. So that's absolutely wonderful. Martha, you know, who comes to mind as, you know, important to you during New Hampshire Gives Day, and why do you think it's important to support charitable causes?
Well, you know, it'd be crazy in the business that we're in. We appreciate so much to not be on the other side of it. And Russ, I've often joked with people and say that when I grow up, I want to be a philanthropist. I just want to be able to give money away all day when I grow up. But I do what I can now. And as Astrid said, I agree around, I have a list every year that I keep. I've become more strategic and try to be consistent every year, increasing when I can. But for me, one of the things that I really appreciate is where I have relationships either with the people doing the work, because that's so important in fundraising, is knowing the people and knowing the work. And so that makes a big difference to me. So I have a lot of colleagues around the Seacoast. I will give a shout out in a minute, but I also just wanted to say that we have so many incredible partners at Crossroads House that I so value what they do, because we can't do it all ourselves. And so there are many, many agencies that support the folks that we're serving every day. And so I feel particularly grateful for those. Some of those are Families First, Haven, the Crumple Center, Big Brothers Big Sister, Community Action Partnership of Stratford County. It's kind of a long list. We have a lot of different partner agencies that I feel grateful for. Some arts organizations as well, Les. I think people are often shocked when they hear, and I should know the number in New Hampshire, but there's an amazing number of nonprofits in the state. Not all are participating in New Hampshire Gives, but it surprises people to learn how much of the work, the good work that happens in our state, happens through nonprofits. And people are often surprised about that and think, oh, doesn't the city or town take care of that? Or isn't that a state funded thing? And it's like, no, these are nonprofits doing this really important work in our community. So I do what I can, and I value all the work that they do. And as we know, no donation is too small. It all adds up. That's always our philosophy. So anyone giving today, know that your donation, regardless of how many zeros it has on the end of it, it all adds up. So
that's right. And the people who are watching right now and who are giving, we're almost up to 1.8 million in gifts today. Those people are making this happen. All of these things happen in our state, and they wouldn't happen otherwise. Molly, why do you give, and who's on your list?
I do give, and I tend to focus, as would be expected, on the little guys, and which, $500 to $1,000 total for them as a result of New Hampshire Gives is a huge win. So I try to give small amounts to folks that have benefited from Goodwork services. I also give to I'll give a shout out to Women Aid because early as a single young mom, I was the recipient of some Women Aid support and helped me through a challenging time. So, just to be able to give back to that organization that gave to me in a time of need. We have several incubator participants that are participating in New Hampshire Gives. I'm reluctant to start listing them because I may miss one, but Step Up Parents, Artisan, Vouchers for Veterans, Friends of Lafayette House, Our Place, all really exciting new organizations that are coming onto the scene that are going to serve our community in incredible ways.
I am so glad you mentioned, your thinking process behind your support of Women Aid, because I can tell you that I honestly believe, and I'm sure everyone on this call can agree with this, that some of our most dedicated supporters are the people who actually benefited from our programs. They may not be our largest donors, but they become some of our most consistent supporters, and the people who give gifts that mean a lot to them and are very meaningful in their capacity. So there are so many people out there giving today who are benefiting from the work of the organizations that they're giving to, or have benefited from the work of the organizations they give to. And I think that's important for donors to know and understand. Well, I woke up this morning, and I'm going to pull this off of my laptop right here and show you. My wife gave me a list of organizations. I don't know if you can even read that, but it says Black Heritage Trail of New Hampshire, 3S Art Space, and Goodwork were organizations that I had to make sure that we made donations to during New Hampshire Gives Day. And I add to that list to the Crumple Center and other organizations, but we work together as a household to figure out how we can make a difference in our community at our capacity and what we're able to do. And New Hampshire Gives Day really gives us an opportunity to think outside of the box. And even though, as Astrid mentioned, it's really important, and Martha mentioned, to think strategically about your giving and really making sure that you're not just a drive-by donor and that you give consistently to organizations. I really think a benefit of New Hampshire Gives Day is it gives me an opportunity to maybe donate somewhere where I don't typically donate and to make a difference. So it's a great way to get introduced to an organization. So check out what's going on throughout the website over the next day and give to those organizations in your community that mean a lot to you, and maybe find a new organization that you'd like to support whose mission resonates with you, and give a little, and it means a lot. So I'd like to thank Astrid and Martha and Molly for joining me this afternoon or this evening. It's getting late, and being on at this late hour to share their stories. It's been really rewarding for me and exciting. I also want to take a quick moment before we sign off and say that I am also a member of the board of directors for the New Hampshire Center of Nonprofits, or the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits. And as a board member, I want to sincerely thank all of the organizations who are participating in this day. I'd like to thank all of the donors who make this day such an amazing success, and all of the foundations, including the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, that gives so much in matching funds, and the donors who give in matching funds and challenges throughout the day that have made this a greater and greater success each year. As a board member, it's truly exciting to see this happen, because we want more than anything for nonprofits in the state of New Hampshire to be healthy and to thrive and to provide services for our citizens that are so desperately needed in so many different scenarios, whether it is arts and culture, whether you're working with youth, or whether you're helping build the future of nonprofits in our state, or providing shelter for those who need it most. So thank you all for being here today. I hope everyone on here stays tuned for more great clips about nonprofits from the Seacoast and other parts of the state. And I hope you tune in tomorrow with Greg Kretschmar and more that's going to be going on with New Hampshire Gives Day. And I hope more than anything that you give generously and in a heartfelt manner, and know that what you are doing is making a tremendous difference in our state. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and have a wonderful New Hampshire Gives Day. And I hope to see all of you in person soon. Take care.
NH Gives is New Hampshire's largest single day of giving to the nonprofits.
There we go. Good job.
Better places to live.
This year, New Hampshire Gives is going to run for 24 straight hours, kicking it off at 5 p.m. June 8th, running to 5 p.m. June 9th at nhgives.org.
And you'll be able to give to any one of 550 different agencies of your choice.
Give as little as $5 if you want.
And we can match it to double your money.
Remember, June 8th, 5 p.m., nhgives.org.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kathy Levesque, and I'm speaking to you today as the board president for the Homeless Center for Stratford County. As we approach the New Hampshire Gives 24-hour Giving Day, which is June 8th to the 9th this year, I would like to make you aware of Home for Now. Home for Now is our new facility currently under construction on Washington Street in Rochester. I'm also a resident of Rochester. And with the help of our greater Stratford County community, we are building a new family-focused shelter with 10 family-style bedrooms. We will be able to accommodate 40 people and provide some ADA-compliant facilities as well. Part of our mission is to break the cycle of homelessness in families with children. So when these children grow up, they do not repeat the cycle they grew up in. We anticipate the new shelter will be open this October. As more and more families and individuals find themselves without homes, sometimes very unexpectedly, our shelter has been busier than ever, taking people through our programming and placing them in permanent housing. We've placed 69 individuals from 33 family units in 33 months into permanent housing. And we have a 92% retention rate after 2 years because of our support programming. The people we have helped range in age from 80 plus years old to just a few days old. We hope you'll consider helping us impact our community for good this year by donating to Home for Now, which is the new building for the Homeless Center for Stratford County. Thank you everyone for your time this morning.
The Rochester Up program is an aftercare program that is in all of the elementary schools.
We are the link between school and home.
The Up program offers a positive atmosphere for children,
giving kids opportunities of skills, which also broadens their career horizons when they get older.
It makes me feel pretty happy and I have fun here.
The goal of the program is to bring more mindfulness to each child in their own development.
To allow 425 kids a safe alternative to going home alone. To allow them to enrich their lives.
It's important that kids have the opportunity to grow and explore themselves, but in a little more of a real-life way.
Because of this program, a lot of children are able to explore different interests and go to different places.
It means getting them homework and tutoring help if they need it, social emotional skills with peers and friends.
About 90% of our fundraising profits are to pay salaries. And having TurboCam and the Unlocking Potential program be a partner in sharing the same goals for children and brightening their future, providing them with enriching activities and experiences, bringing role models into their lives. It makes me feel really amazing.
It means a lot to me that TurboCam would be willing to invest their time and their energy to advertise to other employees that I work with, to be able to donate towards something that's important to me and that I put my time and energy into.
I really believe in this program and what after school means to kids and families.
It allows opportunity for all kids in our community.
Hi there, welcome to Pope Memorial Humane Society, Cachico Valley. My name is Sabrina and I'm an animal care technician here. Come on in, I'll show you around. Here at Pope Memorial Humane Society, we rely solely on community support. Providing care and enrichment for animals in need is our passion, our mission, and our daily routine. We are a safe, temporary home for more than 1,000 surrendered, lost, abused, neglected, or unwanted animals each year. While this is no small feat, we thought these little paws might help.
These are on items that we always need at the shelter. So if you're looking to donate, look for the paw prints. Thanks.
We have a lot of different tools that we use to keep them calm and collected. We have our interactive treat food bin here. Slow feeders, wobblers, Kong wobblers, keep them engaged. We do different musics to keep them calm throughout the day, different relaxing sounds, all different things. And this is where we keep a lot of the stuff that we use on a daily basis, like trash bags, bleach, Dawn, cleaning supplies, anything that we might need throughout the day. We also do dishes in here, we do the litter pans. A lot of the general cleaning happens in here.
Welcome to our cat adoption area. And as you can see, we like to give them as much space as we can. So our little lady here, for example, has her own catio and her own little fenced-in yard with the X-Pen, which we're always in need of. We also have cages over here. Cats do not like change, so we try to do everything we can to make their stay here as comfortable and quiet as possible. He's a bigger boy, so we try to set him up with a nice big comfy bed. There are kitties that actually prefer to be in the safety of their cages. Everybody's got their fresh food and water every day, a couple times a day actually. We have many volunteers that come in just to socialize and give these cats enrichment, whether it be using toys or catnip, treats. Sometimes we use Feel Away that just helps them feel a little bit more calm in the environment.
Hi, my name is Tracy Winslow, the medical manager here at Pope Memorial Humane Society, and we're very excited to bring you behind the scenes here into our medical area. And we do many types of procedures here in our surgery suite, most commonly spays and neuters.
We have come a long way with our surgery room. It was half the size of this room, if not even smaller, in our old building. So this is a water-powered heating pad that we have received through a very generous grant. The body temperature drops when they're under anesthesia. So this is a very important tool to help us keep them warm while they're under for their surgeries. We have acquired this great equipment by a local animal hospital. So we have a CBC machine and a chemistry machine that was donated to us. Through grants, donations, and continued support, we have been able to get the equipment that we need to continue surgery and all of our other procedures here effectively and safely.
Our new building is a huge improvement from our old shelter, but we have a long way to go. In Phase 2, we need to raise $500,000 to reach our goals. These plans include transforming this versatile space into improved and expanded dog kennel areas and installing drains, creating a dog behavior room, new and improved medical isolation areas for our cats and dogs,
permanent animal control kennels for stray dogs from surrounding communities, and a new incoming cat room for surrenders and strays. Further plans include expanding and improving our current adoption cat room and a new outdoor pavilion and indoor behavior room for dogs. Meeting these needs will allow us to provide essential care for animals at our shelter.
The Memorial Brick Garden. This is a great way to memorialize somebody or just thank them for being a humane person helping out animals. We have a food share program to help keep pets in their homes, which is ultimately our goal. But we're always here to do what we can to help the community out.
We're still here every day providing quality and compassionate care to our animals and services to our community.
For more information on how to make an appointment or other services we offer, please visit our website. On behalf of Pope Memorial Humane Society, Cocheco Valley, we want to thank our community. We're here for you.
At Seacoast Mental Health Center, we serve close to 6,000 individuals and their family every single year, and the demand for mental health care services is rising steadily. But hard data doesn't really show the breadth and depth of what we do. That is best seen through the eyes of our staff.
Mental Health Center. The most amazing part about my job is seeing the looks on my clients' faces and their parents' faces when they meet their treatment goals. The services we provide are so crucial to the youth in our area, and I'm so happy to be a part of this team.
I love being a part of the emergency services team here at Seacoast Mental Health Center because I'm able to work on the front lines over at Exeter Hospital's ER and through our 24/7 crisis line to provide them guidance, support, and really just help them navigate the situation to figure out the best level of care for them.
I am humbled by the stories and experiences of the people I meet and the opportunity to connect them to the most basic services, shelter, food, financial resources, and mental health services. My day is spent visiting tent sites and soup kitchens and searching the streets of Portsmouth and other area towns to offer hope, connection, and support.
And I'm lucky to be able to support youth as they begin to think about their future and identify goals that are important to them and only them. There's nothing greater than watching a youth identify a goal, being able to support them as they work with their families, schools, and communities to take steps towards those goals, and then being able to celebrate with them once those goals are achieved.
Because I get to fill a supportive role in the lives of people with substance use disorder, helping them to achieve their recovery goals.
I was fortunate to join the Seacoast Mental Health Board of Directors about a year ago. And during that time, I've seen firsthand how they've transitioned with COVID-19, being able to get resources to people while keeping them safe and also keeping their staff safe. I found their staff over the last 18 years has always been professional and caring. They treat their clients with respect and the families with respect. Now more than ever, their services are so important, and the staff there works very hard to serve this community, and I'm proud to be on the board of directors.
The N-Shape program is a program designed to support clients so that they're empowered and have autonomy when it comes to their well-being. And they reach their goals, they're happy, they lose weight, they feel empowered. And this is why I really enjoy being a part of the N-Shape program at Seacoast.
I love my job because I get to help kids and teenagers recognize that they have the power to change their situation, to create habits that can lead them into a healthy adulthood. Seeing somebody recognize that they're more than just a passive participant in their own life is truly the most fulfilling part of my job.
I work with folks who have a primary diagnosis of schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, bipolar disorder, or major depression. And I think maybe most importantly, it's my job to hold their hope on the hard days and then celebrate with them on the good days.
As part of the therapeutic team, I help and support families and clients with navigating and accessing community resources. This helps them with meeting their daily, weekly, monthly needs so that they're better able to focus on their therapeutic goals.
I'm grateful that I get to see and hear each day how we as individuals and as an agency truly care for our community. Regardless of age or ability, we give people a place to be heard.
I am grateful for our dedicated staff who do this amazing work every day. Your donation during New Hampshire Gives helps us continue to support our clients and the most vulnerable in the community. Thank you for your consideration to support Seacoast Mental Health Center.
Hi, I'm Sajin and I'm an educator at Haven. In case you aren't familiar, Haven is the largest violence prevention and support services agency in New Hampshire, providing free and confidential support services like a 24-hour hotline, shelter, housing, and accompaniments for those impacted by domestic violence, sexual violence, and stalking. Haven Education has been working for the past 30 plus years, traveling from school to school and classroom to classroom throughout Rockingham and Strafford counties, bringing our messages of body safety, consent, sexual harassment, and healthy relationships to K through 12 students with the mission to keep kids safe. Our personal body safety presentations teach kids in grades K through 4 how to recognize abuse and seek help using puppets.
Did someone say puppets?
Oh, hello, Ravi.
Hey everyone, I'm Ravi, and I'm not just a Haven educator, I also happen to be a puppet.
I was just telling them a little bit about what the Haven Education team does.
Helping to keep kids safe?
Yep.
While being hilarious?
Exactly.
Did you tell them about how the pandemic has been affecting our ability to reach kids and get them our critical messages?
Not yet.
It's affecting our prevention work big time.
Yeah, definitely.
Or how about how COVID has affected the rates of perpetration?
Well, no, not yet. But
and
I was
not
just
in a good way. I mean, more stress and more isolation equals more abuse.
Yeah, that's right.
And more importantly, did you explain to them how we know that COVID has had an impact on children being able to seek help?
Well, not yet.
Sajin, we better get on with it.
Okay, Ravi.
So, we know that you know that COVID has made families super stressed out.
Stress about jobs, health, isolation, housing, and money can negatively impact already fragile family dynamics, which puts vulnerable kids further at risk of being abused.
So, Sajin, it's likely that more abuse is happening to kids, right?
Even when they aren't the victims, the stress also puts kids at a higher risk of witnessing abuse. Statistics show that mothers who experienced economic hardship are 2 times as likely to be the victim of violent or controlling behavior.
And because of COVID restrictions, many kids have been literally stuck in unsafe situations.
Yeah, and we know that school closures and stay-at-home orders elevated risks for all kids.
On top of that, COVID limited the way kids can reach out for help when they've needed it.
Yeah, when children aren't in school or daycare and families are isolating, there are fewer people watching out for them.
Like literally watching. I mean, trusted grown-ups haven't had their eyes on the kids who need it the most.
Yeah, we know that school staff are the #1 source of reports of suspected child abuse.
So while reports of child abuse have been down during the pandemic, it's not because abuse wasn't happening, right?
It's because abuse wasn't being reported. Lack of in-person contact with school staff caused reports to plummet.
If it isn't being reported, then it can't be stopped. And that's not all. With kids stuck home, they've been spending way more time online, which unfortunately means more opportunity for child victimization online.
Yeah, Rockingham Child Advocacy Center has reported a 500% increase in cases of child sexual abuse images and online crimes against children.
So how do we fix this?
We know that now that things are opening up and kids are back in school, reports to the CAC are already going up at an alarming rate. We have a lot of catching up to do.
How many kids did we see before COVID, Sajin?
About 15,000.
Whoa!
There are 40,000 kids in our catchment area, so we were already missing a bunch.
Now Haven Education is going to be busier than ever getting our message to all the students.
I hope so.
Yeah, so being able to hire more educators, well, that would help.
Yep, more educators will help us reach more kids.
So wait a minute, what are you waiting for? New Hampshire Gives, right? Give! I want to keep more kids safe.
Ravi, don't be rude.
But Sajin, it's so easy. Every donation helps us keep more kids safe. I mean, we want to be in your school. Give us all the money. Go, look in your pockets. Open up your piggy banks. Come on, empty those bank accounts. We need all
We appreciate any support that you can give. Thank you so much.
Hey there, get ready for some great nonprofits coming up. But first, we're going to hand you off to Deb for some prize announcements.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Prize Central. We have got a winner for the Primetime Golden Ticket. All organizations who received a donation between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. were entered to win, and the more donations your favorite organization got, the more chances they had to win. The winner of the Primetime Golden Ticket is the Squam Lakes Natural Science Center. Congratulations to the Squam Lakes Natural Science Center. You'll be getting an email with some more details and information soon. Tune in tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. to find out who wins the Night Owl and Early Bird Golden Tickets.
NH Gives is New Hampshire's largest single day of giving to the nonprofits that make all of our communities better places to live.
This year, New Hampshire Gives is going to run for 24 straight hours, kicking it off at 5 p.m. June 8th, running to 5 p.m. June 9th at nhgives.org.
And you'll be able to give to any one of 550 different agencies of your choice.
Give as little as $5 if you want.
And we can match it to double your money.
Remember, June 8th, 5 p.m., nhgives.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to the New Hampshire Gives live stream. I'm Patty Stolte from the Family Resource Center at Gorham up here in the North Country. We hope that you enjoyed the wonderful clips from the participating nonprofits. It's great to learn about the amazing work that's happening right here in our very own state. Have you been watching the numbers climb? We're at 1.8 million right now. It's really exciting. We have 545 organizations and 6,330 donors. Thank you, New Hampshire, for showing us your spirit and your wonderful generosity. There are still 5 chances to get your donation matched through the site-wide match made possible by New Hampshire Charitable Foundation and its donors. We love, especially here at the Family Resource Center and in the North Country, love the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation. Get ready to give tomorrow, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., and 4 p.m. In addition, check out the matches page on New Hampshire Gives to learn about the currently active matches for individual nonprofits. And don't forget about the prize incentives. Giving to your favorite nonprofit at any time during New Hampshire Gives enters them into, or you, into a random contest for the golden ticket. Overnight, we'll have the Night Owl Golden Ticket between 10 p.m. and midnight, and the Early Bird Golden Ticket from midnight to 6 a.m. for you Night Owls. For every online donation an organization receives during those time frames, they get entered into a drawing at midnight and 6 a.m. All online donations also count towards the end of the day prizes, where organizations with the most dollars raised online and the most unique donors win regional and overall prizes. In addition to the golden tickets, don't forget the P2P prize, which is give it to the organization that has raised the most dollars through peer-to-peer fundraising between 5 a.m. today and 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. And nonprofits who submit a screenshot of the New Hampshire Gives media post that they're posting between 5 p.m. Today and 11 a.m. tomorrow will be entered into the drawing for the Show Your Spirit prize. All screenshots may be submitted prior to 11 a.m. on June 9th. See the incentives page on newhampshiregives.org for submission information. Speaking of prize, we should have a winner to announce for the Primetime Golden Ticket. And I think, did we already do that? I'm pretty sure that that's what Deb did, but it's on my script. So I will just say congratulations to the Primetime winner. And now, like what we are here for, as you see the four of us, it's to talk about our own nonprofits. We are from the North and the Lakes region, and we have our guests, as you can see, which is Lori Langua from the North Country Education Services, Elisa Riley from Kismet Rock, and Leslie Diane from Tapley Thompson Community Center. Thanks, guys, for coming along and joining us. Lori, first up, why don't you tell us a little bit about your nonprofit?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Good evening, everyone. I do consider myself a night owl, but this seems rather late, so thank you, everyone, for hanging in with us. I'm Lori Langua, the Executive Director of North Country Education Services, and I've been with this organization for 26 years now. Having spent so many years here, I've had the opportunity to see the impact the agency has made over time and the important role that we play in bolstering public education in the region. Like Patty's organization, we're located in Gorham, New Hampshire, just a few miles up the road from her. We serve the 11 school administrative units in the northern half of the state. I'll just do a quick prop here to show you what that looks like on the map. So you can see geographically, it's about the northern half, just about perfectly in the middle of that. That's all the school districts in Coos County, and then some in both Upper Grafton and Upper Carroll counties. So we work closely with 51 principals, 11 superintendents, directors of special services, the IT directors, and other school leaders. In terms of educators, we serve about 1,000 educators, and then probably about another 600 paraprofessionals. The organization was established around the concept of sharing special education services amongst schools in the North Country. We are going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary this coming October, and nearly 50 years later, I feel like I'm hearing a train.
That's me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So nearly 50 years later, this concept of sharing special ed services is still a big part of our service model, but we really provide a lot more to bolster public education in the region. From professional development to special projects and programs, to facilitating learning communities and creating a wide range of networking opportunities. We work hard behind the scenes to ensure that students have quality learning experiences. That includes bringing resources to schools, building and providing forums for sharing and learning best practices from each other, providing opportunities for schools to collaborate with each other and also with other agencies that serve students and families. At our core, we believe that thriving schools are the heart of vibrant communities.
Couldn't have planned that one.
This is amazing. This is fantastic.
And it's usually not this much. It must be much out there or something.
You're probably not normally at your office at 10:30, so. So we work hard to respond to the evolving needs of the schools and to help them thrive. One of the areas that we've been focusing a lot on is social and emotional learning. We are one of the lead agencies in the North Country Partnership for SEL Practices, and there are several districts and agencies that work with us on that. Related to SEL, we've supported a number of trainings and projects around being trauma informed and how to support students who have endured adverse childhood experiences, or what's sometimes referred to as ACEs. In our trauma informed work, we have worked with Dr. Cassie Yackley for several years to provide foundational level knowledge to hundreds of educators around how brain development is disrupted from trauma and what practices can help students develop those lagging skills. On a more intensive level in that realm, we are also supporting a cohort of North Country clinicians being trained by Dr. Yackley in the child-parent psychotherapy model. And we have also partnered with Lesley University to offer a 4-course series called the Lesley Institute for Trauma Sensitivity. And this past fall, we were able to have 25 North Country educators complete a certificate in trauma and learning through that program. I could go on. Do you want me to pause and give someone else a chance, and then maybe you can talk a little bit more about what else we do after?
I think that's a wonderful idea. Take a breath and we'll go. Who wants to be next? Jump in there. Okay, I'll pick you, Leslie.
Okay, well, thank you for this opportunity to start. I'm Leslie Dion. I've been the director for Tapley Thompson Community Center in Bristol for the last 25 years. My goal was to be the longest serving director, so I've more than doubled it, so I'm pretty excited about that. But it is just a great place. We're a nonprofit recreation department, and we serve 8 towns in the Newfound School District and a population of about 10,000 for our catchment area. So our center has a long history in the Newfound community. We started in 1946. It was the vision of a pastor named Brownlow Thompson at the time, and it took him a number of years to get people to buy into the idea of a nonprofit recreation department and the need for it. But in 1946, he convinced the Methodist Council to take it on as a project, and we are housed in a church that used to be a Methodist church in Bristol. So it's a pretty exciting history. The first director was Wink Tapley, so that's where we come up with our Tapley Thompson Community Center, was to honor those 2 men that made this happen. We do offer a wide variety. We offer all youth sports for ages 4 to 18. We have after-school programs, summer day camps, very active teen council, and the teen council is instrumental in running our events and helping raise funds for building projects. They've been active for probably the last 5 or 6 years, and I can't imagine what we did without them. If we had to do the events that we do without them now, I don't know how we would manage, but it's just a great connection with the high school students that we have. This year, we combined with the Bristol Police Department and formed Newfound Every Child is Ours program. And that program provides food for children that may be food challenged on the weekends. The need is great here, and we're up to 140 bags per week. And we deliver to the schools, and the bags are handed out by guidance and the nurses for the kids to take home on weekends. And it's things that the kids can prepare easily themselves without having to cook anything. So, and one of the coolest things is one of the elementary students, when he got his first bag, said that he was just so grateful, and he told his teacher how much it meant to him that people he didn't even know truly cared about him. So it's been a pretty rewarding program. This is our first year, and we're pretty psyched about that. We are known for some unique programming. One of our current success stories is our award-winning Westward Bound Teen Expedition. And this is a program that we started 13 or 14 years ago now. And what we do is we take 12 8th graders that will be incoming freshmen in the fall, and we work with them throughout the school year to plan a trip to national parks out in the western part of the United States. And the high school principal, Paul Harris, is one of the people that are on the trip, a middle school teacher, the community center director, and a high school teacher, which has been the English teacher. It's been a number of different staff out at the high school. And we work with the kids throughout the winter to plan the trip. They get a half a high school credit for their participation as an extended learning opportunity. And we also take a two prior participants as mentors for these kids, so that as they come into the high school, they have a couple of familiar faces that have already been working with them on what it's going to be like to transition. And the children that get picked for the trip or offered the trip are the ones whose families would never have that opportunity to travel. And one of our goals was, we live in such a rural area, and our kids don't have a big sense of what the wider world is. And what we found after our first year doing it is a lot of them have never even been in a restaurant before. Many of them have never flown before. So these are all new experiences that allow them to take on some leadership opportunities. But to me, the most critical piece of it is the relationship that they build with Paul Harris, the principal at the high school, because many of these kids could have been very challenged academically and struggling when they got to the high school. And because of those connections that they make, they have thrived. And now when you look at the kids that are getting the awards at the end of the year, we're saying, oh my goodness, look at all the Westward Bounders that we have that have just done so well in high school. And I truly believe that he and the high school teacher make all the difference. I'm kind of behind the scenes planning, but those connections are so critical. And then one of our signature events is our annual Santa's Village. So 2020 was the 66th year. That was one of the Wing Tapley's original programs. And it's absolutely magical. The whole upstairs of our building is transformed into a mini village. And it's complete with buildings, Santa, Mrs. Claus, and lots of elves. And our elves experience a real world learning environment because they have to apply, and they can only be 4th or 5th graders in order to fit in the costumes. So they have to apply, they have to go through an application, do an interview, and then they get an elf manual and have 2 elf trainings, and then they're ready to perform for their day of Santa's Village over the 3 days. So it's a pretty cool experience, and most kids can tell you exactly who they were as an elf, whether it be happy or there's so many different jingles, but it's something they remember forever. So, but clearly we could not be successful without the volunteers that we have. Our volunteers do all of the coaching of our youth sports, help with building projects, come and fill the weekly food bags, and do so much more. We couldn't do what we do without that. And so it's just a great place to live and work. And I'm happy to share our wonderful TTCC memories from our past 76 years.
Well, thank you. That's lovely. And it's a perfect segue into Kismet. And Alyssa Riley, can you give us a little insights on your nonprofit?
Absolutely, Patty. Thank you to New Hampshire Gives for having me. Yeah, it's great to be among such experienced directors. I myself am very new into the role of executive director. And so my name is Alyssa Riley. I'm the ED of Kismet Rock Foundation. I mean, we are a nonprofit, pretty small nonprofit based up in North Conway, New Hampshire. And Kismet offers full scholarships for an education in technical rock climbing to economically underserved youth across New England. So from both rural areas and urban areas. So we work with students from Boston, Manchester, Portland, Freiburg, and then Gorham, Berlin, Bartlett. Right now are our sending schools. And we really try to bridge some cross-cultural divides and have different students build relationships with other people and students that they would never come across necessarily in their own school system. So we work with kids from all over New England, and our aim is to really nourish the physical, intellectual, and emotional development of our students through the education in technical rock climbing, but also through the cultivation of a loving, family-like atmosphere. And so our students, they come to the program for 1 week of summer for 4 summers, and everything is included. There's no cost to them. The scholarship is for 4 years, 1 week each summer. And that's, the rock climbing guides. We subcontract out with Cathedral Mountain Guides and their professional guiding service based here in North Conway as well. And so, housing, transportation, food, we try to eliminate all barriers to participation. And we get the kids up in North Conway. And over that 4 years, they go through a very carefully designed climbing curriculum. And so Kismet's been around for 22 years. And within that time frame, the education curriculum within the technical rock climbing is is very specific to each individual student, and it builds upon itself over the 4 years. And so that's an amazing part of the program. But as I said, it's really that family-like atmosphere that we try to cultivate that makes a big difference and makes the strongest impact. So those kids that come there with that same group for 4 summers, and they really get to know one another. And at the end of the 4 years, we have big graduation for them, and they truly leave the program feeling like they are family. They're brothers and sisters. And our graduates of the program, they come back to be Kismet staff. So we have a couple staff members that live in the house with our students, and those are all graduates of the programs. We have interns and that come back, and staff that come back again, all graduates of the program. So it's this really cyclical experience that we get to offer our students. First, this amazing program for 4 years, and then to come back and give a little bit back to new students. Yeah, so that's Kismet in a nutshell.
Well, and it's interesting. There's a nice common thread going along between the 4 of us, which is about youth and investment and good futures. So I'll tell you a little bit about the Family Resource Center before I open up to discussion. We are located in Gorham. We are in an old schoolhouse that was a converted project with the community in the town. And we have grown since 1997, and actually really a lot in the last several years, into 5 locations throughout the North country. So we cover all of Coos and Northern Grafton. And what we do primarily is we have a mission to build stronger or healthier families and stronger communities. And we do that through evidence-based home visiting, and which is a tool that has been really big in the prevention movement of helping families and helping parents get what they need to provide strength-based support to their families. We had a very critical year, as many other people did through the pandemic, but found ways to really address some crises in our area. And it made us, I know everyone's using that word pivot, so I'm getting tired of it, but we pivoted and we kind of became a little bit of a lot of things. We were doing concrete supports for people who were getting evicted, and until some of the larger sponsorships came from different federal funding and so forth. So we were really dealing with many more things than we normally deal with, and we didn't stop. We stayed active through the pandemic. We have our offices in Berlin, Gorham, Littleton, Lancaster, and Colebrook that are basically family resource centers. And this year, a really exciting thing has happened to us. We have become a family resource center of quality, right there, which is an interesting certification. I think of all that we know, different certifications. This is Family Support New Hampshire is a statewide group, and it really has family resource. We have, even in the North Conway area, there's Children's Unlimited or Children Unlimited, but we have these great centers that support families that are networked, and we all do a lot of similar types of work and foster that same, preventative, helping to reduce abuse and neglect, and building resilient children by building resilient parents, and then building really important contributors to our communities. So we strengthen our communities. Again, we started in 1997, so we're still sort of young, but we've made some great headway, and we have amazing partners in the North Country. Lori, of course, is one that's involved in an organization called the Coos Coalition for Young Children and Families. And that's a group that really brings us all together to make sure that we are partnering and not being duplicative, and making sure that the things that we work on are all together and collaborating. So we've really made some great headway through our own organization and through our partners and collaborations. I wanted to share a couple quotes that I had from parent surveys that we get from our home visitors and our family support specialists. because it kind of tells the story of what we really are trying to achieve. One family noted that they had a little help from the Family Resource Center that made a big difference in my life, dealing with the pressures of being a new mom and not having any family in the area. We have a program called Healthy Families America, and that deals with young moms, high risk, of course, from prenatal all the way through to age 8, and we follow them and help them. Well, not follow them. We work with them. We follow them. No. And we help, support that individual that maybe would go a different route. We do have, other than preventative programs, we do work with DCYF on some of the programs where there has been a finding of abuse and neglect, and we work to do supervised visitations to bring parents and families to reunification. Another program that is relatively new in the last few years is something called Strength to Succeed, and that involves substance misuse and addiction. And we have family support specialists that are trained as recovery coaches that work directly with families. And again, everybody, we meet families where they are. We're non-judgmental, we're non-punitive, we are free, we are there to really support and give them that peer support in many ways, so that they feel that their goals are attainable, and we follow them and stay with them throughout all the different peaks and valleys of that journey. So again, there's a lot of them statewide, a lot of us statewide that are doing this work. It's very important work, and all of you are partners and collaborators to the work that Family Resource Centers do. And that's why I always marvel at listening to, Lori certainly working with schools and this new SEL and the trauma-informed care, all these pieces, having schools link with our family support specialists and working with families and making sure that they're successful in school. Community centers that mean so much to helping a child stay safe, after school programs, which we've also had here as well, that keep support working parents and keep kids active and safe. And then, Alyssa, with Kismet, when I looked at your website, and I was just amazed at the kinds of things. It almost seems like such a no-brainer, but yet great kids to be active. And I love, there was a quote actually, it said about giving these kids the chance to freely develop their individual human potential. And it struck me like a lot of our organizations and partners do things, the interventions that help, but you're really doing something that I think is super unique in the fact that you are helping them develop on their own and find this inner strength. I think that's what it is. I mean, and would you describe it as that? I'd love to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what makes Kismet really unique. We're not we don't claim to do therapy. We don't hire therapists. We work with students who just don't have the opportunities to, like I did growing up, to do something like rock climbing or anything, that you get to recognize parts of yourself that you may not have if you didn't have those opportunities. And so, through rock climbing, but also just through the relationships and the shared experiences of Kismet, students really get to recognize different aspects and facets of who they are that maybe were, in the shadow a little bit. And so we're just trying to help our students shine a light on all of the great things that they have to offer. And yeah, I mean, we definitely, I think that, we cross, or we intersect with trauma a little bit at times. And I've attended one of Cassie Yackley's trainings, if I'm saying her name right. And so, it's all what you guys are all doing is definitely interrelated to what we're doing, but we just don't, claim the therapeutic experience, because we find that just the shared experiences, again, I know I'm repeating myself, the shared experiences and the relationships are so powerful in themselves.
Well, and Leslie, you must see it too in the community center setting. You must see children, like you were talking about, sending food home to food insecure families and children that are really grateful. That's kind of stuff that really impacts lives in school and in recreation. They have to be strong. So I think that's really vital work.
We do. We see a lot of that, and we see a lot of kids over the years that we call our TTCC kids, that this was their safe haven. So they'd get out of school, they would be here. Whenever we were open at night, they would be here. They would go to camp here in the summer, and then they will come back and be staff members here, because this is truly what they felt their family was. And there's so many families that are just struggling or fractured or both parents working, that it's been such a wonderful opportunity for our staff to be able to be there and be the people in their lives that will make them want to continue and move forward and volunteer and be contributing.
It's building better futures. It really is great. And then Lori, through education, I was wondering, partly there's been a lot of changes in education, and I was wondering, as sort of a convener, has your job gotten more difficult or in some ways easier in this environment?
I mean, a little bit of both. I would say if there's been a silver lining to the pandemic, I think the ease of using Zoom has really made collaboration and more engagement from the 51 principals that we serve a little bit easier. So in that respect, I think there's more communication happening more regularly than before when we were trying to convene in person. So that's been good. Yeah, it certainly also means a lot more meetings, because we have time for more meetings now that we're not traveling all over the place.
Yeah, very true.
But overall, that is a plus to it. So it wasn't all bad.
Well, and I think that the other common thread that I heard among us was about the challenges of being rural or in a rural community. And I'd love if everybody would just sort of talk about that. I know for us, it's families have a lot of difficulty with transportation and connecting to quality healthcare and to different services they need. I wonder what how your rural location and sort of the setting you're in has affected all of you.
I can jump in. I mean, a lot of the professional development that we offer, of course, is on evenings and weekends, or pre-COVID it was anyway. And so our geographic area is pretty large. So for our folks up in Pittsburgh, it's nearly a 2-hour drive to get to us. So that is a challenge. And I feel for those teachers that have a long way to go to participate in the live and in-person events. So we may see more hybrid offerings through our organization as a result of this. And not that we weren't mindful of it before, but people are just more accustomed to it. Before, when you'd say, well, we can Zoom you in, it seemed like that was a big deal. And now it's easy. That threshold's pretty low now. So
yes, definitely. How about either of you?
Well, I've noticed we have an isolated population because we're such a vast district. And you're absolutely right, without the transportation piece. So a lot of kids can't be in sports at school because they don't have that transportation home afterwards. So and what I've noticed during the past year and a half is the depression factor for these kids and the loneliness, because working remotely, I mean, I see it in the kids here, and behaviorally you see things escalating, and just kind of I don't know how they've navigated to a time like this as well as they have, but to be able to bring some normalcy back to them is so important. We're able to run our camps last summer on a very limited basis, and it was terrifying, the thought of doing it, but we just wanted them to have something to do, and it was very different. But I think the depression and isolation and what we're seeing in our surveys on drug and alcohol use is a huge increase in our school district, which has been alarming and very sad. So we have a lot of work to do to get the kids back on track, but we have some good people out there to do it.
Yeah, and I'll just touch in really quickly. I kind of hinted at this at the beginning, but in terms of transportation, obviously it's a barrier even for our families that live in more urban areas. we do our best to eliminate that barrier just by picking them all up. And so we have a great Kismet van, and we pick up people. Our students are mostly teenagers. So for our Boston and Manchester students, we buy them bus tickets if they're comfortable taking the bus up here. And if not, we'll pick them up. So just do our best to eliminate any barrier to participation.
That's fantastic. Well, and I did want to give a shout out because I think, I hope people are watching. And I know that it is bedtime for a lot of people, but I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't say, I hope you'll join our nonprofit and look at our pages, hear our stories, and consider donating to ours, as well as, some of the others in our region. And I will give a little shout out to some in the North Country that I know, and I welcome each of you to do the same. I know that Taproot is in Lancaster, and we work with them on their gleaning. They help with a little bit of food insecurity to families. Children Unlimited in North Conway, Northern Human Services, REN, which is the Women's Rural Entrepreneurial Network. They are all participating in New Hampshire Gives, and I hope people will consider looking at their pages as well, and just really reaching in and give, because especially in the rural communities, we are not always the ones that get the largest donations. We don't have the big corporate structures or the benefactors, but we work really hard. So we hope you'll consider giving to a North Country and Lakes region nonprofit of your choice. I don't know if any of you have something you'd like to add about that.
I have one that I would be remiss to not mention. It would be White Mountain Science over in Littleton, also known as Whimsy. And I am just stepping off their board as one of the founding directors of that organization. They've been a strong partner to us in what we provide for professional development in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, but they also do a wide variety of student programming in schools and at their facility. And I was really excited that I saw they had a $5,000 goal, and they've already exceeded it. So yay, go Whimsy.
Wow, that's fantastic. I know. Oh, go ahead.
So I would do a shout out for Communities for Alcohol and Drug-Free Youth. That's Katie. They're based out of the Plymouth area, but they're doing tremendous work and working with our youth and students on prevention and treatment. And also Newfound Lake Region Association, who does the protection of the Newfound Lake area, and Slim Baker Foundation for Outdoor Living that we use where one of our camps is based out of, but it is just a beautiful area and a great place to visit with kids.
Wonderful. How about you, Elisa? Alyssa, I always say Alicia. We have an Alicia that works for me, and I say her name wrong, and now I'm saying it right.
It's okay. I get Alicia. I get all of them. But well, I don't have a specific nonprofit. I don't know who's.
Well, I know the Conway Humane Society down in your neck of the woods is one of my favorites that I give to every year. They have a big annual fundraiser in the Christmas season, and I'm always a sucker for a humane society.
yeah. I know they do great work. I see them in the paper all the time.
Yeah, and I'm just so proud that we really have, for you guys to be here at 10 o'clock. I have to say I am so proud of you all, because I think I don't remember whose email it was said. That's 10 o'clock a.m., right?
It was me.
Because I think we all mirrored your thoughts on that one. But, we're like, and Lori mentioned it, we do what we need to do for the job. And that's the kind of commitment as a nonprofit. I know, especially Alicia, you're new to this, you said, as a executive director, and you'll learn, if you haven't already, that we just pretty much are the chief cook and bottle washer of everything. And remarkably, I loved your background. I thought, you've done some traveling, and you've worked with a nonprofit as a volunteer coordinator. I was really like, I think you bring a lot of great experience to what you're doing.
Well, I really appreciate that because sometimes I'm like, whoa, what am I doing?
Yeah, that's a normal feeling for
Okay,
an
good.
executive director. You get used to that after a while.
All right.
Well, I don't know where we are in all this, and I don't know if, you know, I think we go to 11 and we're getting close. So I just would say we have 8 minutes, and if there's anything anyone else wants to add, I want to.
Yeah, we can wrap up. We can wrap up when we're ready.
Okay. Well, last minute words of wonderful cheer and plea for donation from each of you.
Sure, I will start. I just want to say, for anyone here that's listening, thank you for listening. That's amazing because I would be in bed if I were not here. But no, seriously, Kismet is, you know, I just feel so honored to be able to represent this really, you know, as Patty, you said, a really unique organization. I have not come across anything like what we do. So please check out our website, kismetrockfoundation.org. We are a small nonprofit, so, you know, the smallest donations really do make a difference. But at the very least, you know, I hope that you can take a little bit about what I described, and if you know anyone who would be interested in what we do, spread the word, because it's really hard for us to kind of publicize and advertise what we do just due to the sensitivity of our students and trying to be respectful of them. So thank you all for this opportunity. That's all.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I can jump on. I guess I would say, you know, the best part of the job for me is coordinating the learning opportunities for educators and getting to see their growth and development over time. We have some participants that are repeat guests, and we, you know, they keep coming back to learn more strategies and are just always trying to hone their craft. And I noticed one of them recently was awarded the 2021 STEM Teacher of the Year. And it just, you know, seeing those dedicated teachers is great, and supporting our organization just will allow us to keep providing those experiences, keep advocating for resources, and keep working to provide the best opportunities to kids in the North Country. So we want to keep being there for all those students and teachers in schools.
Thanks. Leslie, anything?
Yeah, I'm just grateful to New Hampshire Gives for this opportunity and all the hard work that you do to benefit all of us. And kudos to all of the organizations tonight that are on here. You do wonderful work, and I just always feel so blessed to be able to be in this job and see the difference that you can make with the youth and adults in your community. So kudos to everybody.
Right, great, thank you. And thank you to New Hampshire Gives and to Chris, who's been our little man behind the scenes, and Kathleen and Deborah, of course, and go to the family resource page and give. Thank you all, and thank the four of you. It's been a pleasure spending this hour with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patty.
Well,
you guys were fantastic.
Woo!
I know you made it. So, Patty, before we sign off here, we're going to play a bunch of great videos from your region. But before we do that, I'm going to play a quick video from our sponsor, Switcher Studio. That's kind of the magic that we're using to get everybody on screen here. I know you guys were talking about the
I should have said that.
Ease of live video and the Zoom atmosphere that we live in these days. But we are sponsored tonight by Switcher Studio, so we'll play a quick video from them, and then we will hear from a bunch more nonprofits from the Lakes region. So Patty, thanks for staying up and working the night shift with us. We really appreciate it. To all of our guests, we appreciate you as well. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., facebook.com/nhgives, and on the website, nhgives.org. You can just press that play button and you'll meet some more awesome nonprofits. It's Chris Druck signing off.
Chris. Great job.
Thank you so much, Patty. I appreciate it. Going to hit the hay just like you guys. And we'll see you all tomorrow after these great messages here.
Thanks.
What's 6 times more engaging than video. Live video. Switcher Studio lets you create amazing live video. Switch angles, add graphics, invite guests, all on iPhones and iPads, and stream it anywhere. Start your free trial at switcherstudio.com.
Belknap House provides families in Belknap County safe shelter during homelessness and helps them to develop skills and opportunities to become independent. By providing case management, education, and resources, families maintain stability as they work towards finding a home of their own.
Shortly after a mother of 3 arrived, she shared, "I can actually breathe better and not be afraid because I know we're all safe and sleeping in a warm house." Our support system and the classes we offer help to address root causes of the adversity which these parents face.
Sometimes families find themselves in challenging circumstances unexpectedly. Entering Belknap House offers them a helping hand up, much more sustainable than a handout. Your donation to Belknap House during New Hampshire Gives is important and directly supports families in crisis. As parents develop life-changing skills, the courses of their lives improve. And this, in turn, strengthens the communities they enter.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris Miga, and I am the chairman and the pianist for the Lakes Region Symphony Orchestra, otherwise known as LRSO. And I wish to thank the New Hampshire Gives program for the opportunity to introduce the orchestra to you. You can see and hear more about us at lrso.org, and we encourage you to sign up for our mailing list when you are there. The Lakes Region Symphony Orchestra is a non-profit community-style orchestra based right here in Merida. We are embarking on our 46th season of music making for the Lakes region. That's 4.5 decades of music. That in itself is pretty amazing. We perform 6 to 7 concerts each season in the fall, winter, and spring, with occasional pop-up concerts in and around Meredith. The LRSO provides an opportunity for students, amateur and professional musicians to come together, rehearse, perform, make friends, and make music in a full orchestral setting. This is a rare opportunity many musicians never experience. We are very fortunate to provide this opportunity for musical enrichment for the musicians, as well as live orchestral concert experiences for our audiences. To give back, we sponsor an annual concerto scholarship competition for high school students. This competition provides cash awards, but more importantly, the opportunity to perform live as a featured soloist in concert with the orchestra at our November concert. You can learn more about this competition at our website. LRSO performs a variety of programming each season, ranging from the genius symphonies of Beethoven and Mozart to Broadway classics like South Pacific and Phantom of the Opera, movie themes, and of course traditional pops orchestrations like Sleigh Ride at the holidays. We typically include a featured guest artist at each performance as well. We are so excited about our performance partnerships with the Silver Center for the Arts at Plymouth State University, the Colonial Theater in Laconia, and of course our ongoing relationship with Interlakes Auditorium here in Merida. So many exciting things happening right now with the orchestra, but I'm here today to ask for your support. In addition to ticket sales, we rely on donations from individuals and businesses like you. If you appreciate live music and fostering young musicians, we'd really appreciate your gift today through New Hampshire Gives. If you can't, that's okay. You can support us by attending one of our concerts this season. Again, check out lrso.org for our schedule, listen to some music, sign up for our mailing list, or just drop us a note. You can also follow us on Facebook at LRSO1. If you are a musician, we may even have a spot for you in the orchestra. Please let us know if you are interested. We hope to see you soon at a concert, and we thank you for supporting the Lakes Region Symphony Orchestra through the New Hampshire Gives program.
Mayhew was a crossroads for me, taking that more positive path for the rest of my life.
I was a terrible kid, man.
I never wanted to get in trouble. It's just, it happens because I'm impulsive.
What we do with the guys from the time they're 10 years old is really try to instill in them respect, responsibility, community, and challenge, that these values are important, and how to sort of reroute their decision-making process back to these values.
While I was growing up, they were there, and instead of me doing this, they were just like right there with me. It's very nice.
They don't tell you to do it, they tell you that you should try.
When I went there, I felt like I could do like anything. I kind of like wanted to step up and be a leader.
It feels amazing having that kind of support because it makes you feel like you can accomplish anything.
Today's vaccination day.
I know.
Are you nervous?
Yes, a little bit.
For what?
I don't like needles. I hate needles.
Did you cry when you got your tattoo?
A little bit.
He's going first.
No, I'm not. Oh, God.
Show him how big this needle is.
Small.
Oh, just kidding, bud.
If you look away and you don't even think about it, and Justin keeps talking to you, you're not even going to know that you just got the vaccine.
All right, let's go. I'm ready.
You're the man.
Let's go.
Okay, now I want it my right arm.
Yeah, because now it's numb, right?
Yeah, now it's numb. Oh, here we go, Jimmy.
Here we go. All right, ready? All right, ready? Oh, my hand!
Why is this so sweaty?
All right. Alcohol away.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Okay.
You pumped up?
All right.
You ready to do this? Why you squeeze my hand as hard as you can?
That's right. I want that.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Let's go!
Let's go!
Did it hurt?
No. Ryan?
He's gonna get the Band-Aid.
You did it faster, you little. Yeah, Ryan!
Are you afraid of needles?
No. Sorry.
Why? How do you know?
I'm nervous with you right here.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, no.
This is the way to get your vaccination, folks.
Okay.
Are you doing
Hold on, tickle me while the needle's going in.
Okay, hold on. She's about to go in. Don't move, dude. This will get bad.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
How do you feel?
I feel immune.
Good.
You can tickle me, bro.
You're crying. He's crying. This time you're crying, baby.
All right.
Will you save me?
Yeah.
You will?
Okay.
You'll save me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Justin.
Oh, no, Justin. Don't cry like a baby, okay?
No? Say something. Inspire me.
You are an inspiration guide to everybody.
Okay.
Here we go.
Look back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tell me.
I love you. I love you. Oh, I love you, Justin. I love you. I love you. I love you. Justin?
I'm back.
Yeah, you did it!
We got vaccinated.
Yeah,
let's go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Champagne, and I am coming to you from Spalding Academy and Family Services. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about all of the work that we have done for children and their families over the last 150 years. That's right, we are celebrating our 150th anniversary this year. This organization means so much to me because of the work that we do with the children and the families through our academic, residential, and community-based programs. We have here on our beautiful campus the opportunities to change children's and their families' lives, and we have done so. With all these contributions, that really makes the difference. We have been able to provide children with experiences that they might not ever get. Spalding provides this opportunity for the children and their families to heal, to build, to grow, to learn, and to be good citizens of their communities. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
For the last 2 years, New Hampshire Gives has been a game-changing event for Waunakee, where our community clearly shows just how much they care about our mission and community. We weren't able to open last year for summer camp, but we're coming back in 2021.
You helped us get through the last year, and your gift during New Hampshire Gives helps us relaunch into what's next.
As we get back to camp, many families have had an impossibly difficult year. Your gift supports camperships and ensures that every child can have a camp experience regardless of finances.
We've realized we need to continue upgrading our facility as we head into our next 60 years. With health and wellness more important than ever, we are preparing to build a new health lodge. Your gift helps us move forward on this project with confidence, and we think we can get it done by summer 2022.
Waunakee was founded 60 years ago in 1961. Our support today helps us look to our next 60 years with confidence and clarity of purpose.
As always, thank you so much for believing in Waunakee and investing in Waunakee.
Society, God save Donald Duck, vaudeville and variety. We are the Desperate Dan Appreciation Society, God save strawberry jam and all the different varieties, preserving the old ways from being abused, protecting the new ways for me and for you. What more can we do?
Experience native wildlife up close at Squam Lakes Natural Science Center in Holderness. Get nearer to nature on the live animal exhibit trail or with a guided pontoon boat cruise on Squam Lake. Plus, see dinosaurs alive for a limited time. Learn more at nhnature.org.
I've known alcohol all my life, and for me personally, I'm basically being reborn again in life, because that's all I knew.
One of the things that separates us that most places don't have is we're a Christian organization, but the difference between us and like another Christian or a secular is we offer both services. So when people come to us, we'll treat them wherever they are. But we offer intensive outpatient programming. Intensive outpatient is just where someone comes to us 3 days a week, 3 hours a day, and they're in group sessions. And then they also have a 1 hour a week single one-on-one session with one of our licensed counselors.
I don't know everything. I just know that I'm staying sober and something's working. This is working. And if I can give it to someone else, I mean, it's proof it's working. I'm here. Then I know it can work for someone else and I can help them. I'm going to do it. I owe that.
It's certainly a challenge. Some days more challenging than others, but it's the small miracles that we get to see. Every once in a while, God gives us somebody that's really come from the bottom of really dark places with no hope, and now you see them walking around filled with hope, not using the drugs or alcohol anymore. So it's those little miracles you get to see every day that keep you going, keep you smiling.
He's graduated from the IOP program, and I'm very happy to present Ken with his certificate. It was worth it.
I want to do more. I don't feel as depressed. I'm not afraid of anything anymore. And I'm just taking one step at a time. So I don't know what the future holds. Hopefully all good.
I encourage everybody else too, because, you know.
So answer me this one question. How'd you do it?
How'd you do it?
How'd you do it?
God. And the help of you people. Yeah. Yeah.
The 1,200 plus miles of trail that wind through the White Mountain National Forest represent a significant achievement in our nation's history, and one of the Northeast's most valuable natural resources. Each year, millions of people from around the world visit the forest, and nearly all of them set foot on one of those trails while they're here. Trails hold different meanings for all of us, and those trails make every connection and experience we seek outdoors possible. Trails are a vital and continual thread, literally woven through the public lands. Unfortunately, our trail system is often taken for granted. Unlike nearly every other public resource we enjoy, trails are primarily a product of volunteer work. More people than ever are using the trails, and trail maintenance has not kept up with the increased use. The amount of behind-the-scenes work needed to create and maintain your favorite local trail is staggering. The White Mountain Trail Collective, in collaboration with some incredible partners, works to pool resources and reimagine trail stewardship in the White Mountain National Forest and beyond. By securing much-needed funding, we provide training, tools, professional trail crews, and scores of dedicated volunteers. The White Mountain Trail Collective adds crucial capacity to the efforts of our public partners like the Forest Service, who are working to keep our trail network a sustainable resource for generations to come.
Here's a message from a Town Square Media New Hampshire Year of Service partner.
For 50 years, the Mayhew program has been helping at-risk New Hampshire boys find their best.
Mayhew saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. I remember the day I was introduced to the program. It was the spring of 1983, and I had just turned 13. The concept of a place for at-risk boys to be around positive role models sounded like an impossible task, at least in the context of fixing me. I was what you'd call a misguided youth. 36 years later, as a father of 3 boys, a business owner for 25 plus years, and an involved community member, I can tell you that without a doubt, Mayhew changed my life. Both in small personal ways like respect for others and confidence in myself, and in large ways like running a business, and most importantly, raising my children and mentoring their friends. I know that I would not be the person I am today without the program, and I am forever grateful.
Mayhew, 50 years, tuition free, year round, for the boys. Find us on Facebook at the Mayhew Program.